Alright, you little bastard. You want to challenge my pack? Well, I hate to say this, but I'm not the alpha that you want to challenge. Because my true alpha is right there. So if you want to challenge one of us, you have to go through all of us. Ain't that right?
So true. I'm back. I stepped down because I had to. Now I'm back.
Can I ask you, if you won all the money, what would you do with it?
Bunch of hookers and cocaine.
Write that down, write that down!
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He is shallow, he is ill-prepared to be commander-in-chief. He doesn't know what he's talking about in terms of how our laws work. He says the worst things possible about immigrants and women, and he's a complete idiot when it comes to Mideast policy.
I didn't know that. I just, you're telling me now for the first time.
Well, Lindsey Graham died last week. Lindsey the Ladybug Graham died last week. I'm not super bummed about it. I mean, I am not. I was never a Lindsey Graham fan at all. I thought he was a neocon, a stinky war hawk, and I don't think he did. I'm sure he did some things that were great. I'm sure that he served, South Carolina well. Yeah, fine, whatever. I personally think he has done more harm than good, so rest in penis, Mr. Graham. Hey, do you suffer from massive hog syndrome and need to downsize your piece? Go to hungusmediation.com and take the hog quiz to see if Hungus is right for you. Now back to the show. I don't appreciate that type of leadership in the U.S. government. Sorry, I just don't. I don't wish anybody to meet the bitter end at the age of 71. It'd be nice if you could live to 80, 90, or 110 like Mitch McConnell over there. I don't know. If he's even alive still. I don't know. Rumor has it he's not, and they're just faking it. But I don't. That's the rumor mill, and I don't necessarily believe that. But Lindsey the Ladybug Graham was very much, his beliefs were very much so not mine, especially when it came to conflict in Ukraine and conflict in Iran. I mean, for one, he's a sneaky snake of a politician, hating Trump, detesting Trump, speaking out against Trump back in 2015, 2016, saying all these awful, nasty things. True, maybe. Perhaps they were true. I don't know. But what I mean to say is he did a total flip-flop, and at the time of his death, he was a massive Trump supporter and lover, and he could do no wrong by Lindsey Graham type of thing. And that flip-flop just doesn't... I mean, here's the thing. He went from hating Trump, to loving Trump. And to me, that's a problem, because the more we get to know Donald, the more it's like, unless you're some boomer fanatic, it's like, even if you did love him, why are you still in love with him? Why are we still supporting him? It doesn't... Trump has done some things well, but I think ultimately he's botched this. Anyways, whatever. Lindsey Graham, thank you for your service, my sweet, sweet ladybug. I don't appreciate the level of support you gave for surveillance on U.S. citizens. I don't like that. I don't like that you were a supporter and that you signed the Patriot Act. I don't like that. I don't like that you pushed the FISA laws. I don't like that. I don't like how much money you received from AIPAC throughout your entire career and in the year of 2025. That was a lot of money, huh? That was a lot of money AIPAC gave you, wasn't it? I don't like that. It's unsettling to me, and like I said, I don't wish death upon anybody that I disagree with at all. I don't want anyone to meet the bitter end before they're supposed to, I suppose. But I can't say I'm gonna miss him, because I'm not. We gotta get those minerals. He was the most outspoken person about the minerals and natural gas in Ukraine. He was the most vocal about it, probably because he was told to be, honestly. I don't think he was given a choice here, so I'll give him credit for some of that. I don't know how much of a choice Mr. Graham had on anything, maybe, perhaps, on anything that he was being so outspoken about. But he was very outspoken in the news and the media about how bad he wanted the minerals that sit beneath Ukraine. And that is one of the primary driving factors to why we have aided and supported the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine is simply a proxy between us and Russia. That's all it is. No one has ever given a shit about Ukraine. It's run by some weirdo ex-comic that thinks he's at the top of the world. He's the king of the world. Well, you're not. You're short and you suck. Nothing wrong with short people. It's just I don't like Zelensky. Lindsay was a huge supporter of going in, and essentially what he was driving towards was, well, we need to steal it, we need to take it before somebody else does, before Russia does. But see you later. Well, I won't see you. I think you're going somewhere I hope not to end up. Hey everybody, this podcast is sponsored by Shitbag. Not sure which crypto exchange to use when buying or selling all of your valuable crypto coins and NFTs? Choose Shitbag for all of your crypto trading needs. Sign up now and use code FUCKYOU to receive 10 ass coins for free. Again, that's code FUCKYOU on shitbag.com for 10 free ass coins. Thanks, and now back to the show. And speaking of surveillance, I saw this recently. I read an article. This just hit the press. That here in Texas, the police it was the Texas government just inked a deal with an Israeli tech company called Cognite to purchase and install AI software, tech, and infrastructure called FalcoNet in 4 of their police cruisers, 4 of their Tahoes. This was about a $5 million deal that we signed with this Cognite company in Israel for them to supply us their FalconNet technology in the Tahoes. And basically what that is it's like this tech enables the Tahoe, the cop car, to be a mobile, surveillance vehicle. It mimics a cell tower, so it goes around and it fucking picks up all of your cell phone data, location, text, voice record, everything you're doing on your phone. It is mimicking a cell tower, and it's intercepting those signals, okay? And it's storing all of it and shooting it off to whatever database, some Palantir database that the cops use. This is fucking bonkers. Absolutely fucking crazy. And this is happening in Florida. Florida already has them. I think Texas now has the just 4 Tahoes, totaling $5 million. I mean, this is fucking crazy. And I haven't seen anyone talk about it. These articles I've read came out this week. To me, this is nuts. So not only does ICE have this tech now, but now regular cops have it. Well, at least 4 of them do. But who knows? This is probably going to expand to the entire fleet, at least in Texas, in big metropolitan areas. To me, this is beyond insane. This is way beyond the flock camera issue. This is way beyond any of that shit. This is nuts. It's nuts because nobody signed up for it. If somebody came to your door, knocked on it, and said, "Hey, we'd like to collect all of your data, hand it over," you would say, "Get the fuck out of my house before I blow your brains." Because what? No, it's like, what happened to a reasonable expectation of privacy? They have blown that to smither fucking reams, is what has happened. There is no, they are redefining the word reasonable. Because that, to me, is not a reasonable expectation of privacy. Okay? Let alone these flock cameras that they say, oh, it's just for license plate. Just for license plates. It's for a safer, more secure empire, is what they're saying. But in reality, these cameras read your facial expressions. They document what you're doing in the car. Whether you're listening. They have it all. These cameras have it all. And they're popping up everywhere. And I'm very against it. And it's not something I'm a fan of. And it's concerning that given all this shit going on in the Middle East, and all this conversation, and everything that's happened, let's just take the last 10 years between us and Israel, okay? We're cool with buying their tech? We're not concerned that maybe they piped in a backdoor to the tech? To the AI surveillance tech, mobile surveillance tech. This is mobile surveillance infrastructure going in and around the city. I am not cool with that. That drives me up a fucking wall! And I don't really understand how anyone could let it get this far. I don't think anybody would vote on this. Now, here's the thing. They sell this freedom and safety shtick like it matters to them. They say, oh, well, this is going to keep everyone safe and secure. No more riots. Remember all those riots a couple years ago? Remember January 6th? Remember the stuff that happened during BLM? Remember Charlotte or wherever? Remember that? Well, this is going to help prevent that. And they say that to help everyone, to get the population on board, but in reality it's like, well, did you, government, US government, did you or did you not have agents of your own, US agents, initiating a little bit of chaos in some of those riots? Did you or did you not? I'm not defending January 6th by any means. However, I'm pretty sure the FBI was involved. I'm pretty sure they had agents throwing a couple bricks around. Right? I'm pretty sure they had many agents instigating. You can go look up examples. I'm not going to get into it because I don't have the time right now. But I know, and they wouldn't answer the questions. When they went before Congress, before the special committees or whatever, the FBI director, back, I don't know, however long ago it was, they refused to answer whether or not they had, and how many agents they had participating in January 6th in an official capacity. I guarantee it's a part of the fucking playbook. It's literally a part of their playbook. Create chaos, create disruption, create an unsafe environment for the people, or help do it, help nudge us individuals that just somehow can't get along. Okay, I'm not saying it's all their fault. A lot of us can't get along because they keep us at left versus right, battling over these insignificant issues. And they just give us a little nudge in the direction they want us to go, and then they turn around and they provide the solution. Oh, well, the solution is more surveillance, less privacy, more AI-powered cameras going up in your neighborhood, more cop cars that collect every single data point your phone has to offer. They're going to store that, they're going to analyze it, and maybe they'll sell it to advertisers for a little cash on the side. That's what they do. And I'm against it. I'm against that. But that's happening. And it's going to pop up in a lot more cities. I'm sure they have it in California. This FalconNet. Caw-caw! Let me read every text you've ever sent. Let me listen in on your phone call. It's not cool. And this falls under the signals intelligence tech that a lot of companies design and provide. And I don't really understand why we had to go to Israel to buy this shit. Like, if we're gonna do it, why can't we keep it in America? I understand Palantir they're not building shit like that, but isn't there somebody else that we could have bought this from? Did we not learn anything from what the Israelis did with their Pegasus software? Huh? Apparently not. Because whenever Pegasus came out, their fucking spy software that they sold to everybody, and I'm sure it was great tech. I'm sure we've heard of this, right? It's really great tech. I mean, the Saudis bought it. Mexico bought it. Poland bought it. The U.S., the FBI demoed Pegasus, I think back in like 2015? I don't know. But the FBI demoed it on U.S. civilians, I'm sure, and then said, nah, we're good, we're going to make our own. And we didn't like it because we thought the Israelis were potentially going to abuse that. Maybe we found a back door that they coded in there somewhere. I don't know. But the FBI said, nope, we're not going to do it. And the U.S. blacklisted the purchase of Pegasus from all branches of the government. Pegasus was created by some Israeli company called NSO. Well, guess what? The Israelis were not happy about that. They didn't like that Big Daddy didn't want to buy their shit. In fact, they came out and condemned us blacklisting that as an attack on the country of Israel itself. What a bunch of fucking crybabies. Huh? Go cry about it, you big baby. We don't want your AI tech. We don't want your spy software. Because the government apparently has their own that they use. Probably Palantir. I don't know. But if you recall, back in 2018, when Jeff Bezos' phone got hacked, okay, Bezos' private investigators concluded this, along with other U.S. officials, concluded that King Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, MBS, sent Bezos a text that was from Pegasus, that had the Pegasus malware on it, that then gave the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia access to all of Bezos' shit. And why? Why would they do that? Why? Why do you need Jeff Bezos' penis pictures? Well, it's because MBS allegedly signed off on the murder of Saudi dissident journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Remember the Khashoggi thing? Remember that? Remember when they cut him up and burned him at a Turkish consulate? Or whatever. Maybe it was a U.S. It was some consulate in Turkey. They killed him. The CIA concluded that MBS might have had something to do with that. Personally, not good. This is not good. Pegasus, no bueno. But with stuff like Pegasus and stuff like FalconNet and the flock cameras, it's all sold to the public. It's sold to those making decisions as, well, this is a good thing because we can track terrorists. We can perform counterterrorism. We can keep the population safe. We can do XYZ. No more child sex trafficking rings. All this stuff. And it's like, okay, all right. Sweet. That sounds good. In fact, I think Mexico used Pegasus. Used the spy software, which, Pegasus, you can receive a text that's infected with Pegasus. You don't have to click on anything. You don't have to touch it. There's no malicious link that you have to text. Once you receive the text, it installs shit in the background of your phone, and it has everything. It can access your microphone. It can access your camera. It has all of your pictures, your documents, your text, everything. It has total surveillance and control over your device. Period. Okay? And if you think for a second that the Israelis haven't done that to U.S. officials or those in power or those the elite, then you're retarded. Because the Saudis did it. The Bezos. The Saudis. I mean, yeah. These guys have money, but what else do they have? Brains? No, I'm kidding. I'm sure they're very smart. I've worked with a lot of good Saudi people. I have in a past life. But what I mean to say is, there are some good things that come out of it. Like Mexico used Pegasus, I think, to lead to the capture of El Chapo. That's good. I think they shut down some child sex trafficking rings. That's good. I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. I like that. However, the problem is, with shit like this, it doesn't stop there. They use it to control the population. They use it as this massive panopticon to control everybody's mind. I mean, it's what they do. You say, mind control, you're crazy. It's like, yeah, am I? Look at the world around you, bitch. Look at what we've become. No one's really happy. Everyone's sick of being a slave to corporations. Our food stinks. And to get good food, you have to pay an arm and a leg and a fucking big toe. I mean, come on. It appears everyone hates each other. Appears that way. Get offline. No one hates each other. Just get offline. That's the shit. It's so sick. It's sick what they make you believe when you go online. But when you're just interacting with regular people, you realize I'm not so different from this guy. Of course, I'm bigger, faster, stronger, but like, whatever. No, they want you online. They want to keep you hooked in. They want to keep you linked in. Because that is the modality of control for them. Is when you're online. And they know how to get you. They know how to get you. This podcast is sponsored by Hungus Hope Clinic. Do you have a lifted truck with all-terrain tires that never leave pavement? Do you have trouble keeping the attention of a woman? Do you argue in the LinkedIn comment section? Do you still use Axe body spray? Well, the Hungus Hope Clinic's patent-pending Tennis Reversal Pill, or TRP, is for you. Go to hungushopeclinic.org/me-tennis and enter the code HUNGLESS20 for 20% off your first month's subscription. Side effects may include uncontrollable body movements, gastrointestinal turbulence, lazy eye, severe underbite, violent outbursts, and increased risk of microtennis. Take only under doctor's supervision. All right, now back to the show. And I think people, since the inception of this smartphone, since the inception of the apps, social media, people are going crazy. That's not new. But look around. People are going crazier and crazier and crazier. I don't think this level of batshit crazy existed when, 60 years ago, 40 years ago. I don't think so. And back then, it's like, okay, well, we didn't know that the government was fucking us. We didn't know what went into all of the different wars that we were brought into and drafted for, like the Gulf of Tonkin. How would we have figured that out, right? The false flag. All this shit. It's like, yes. Being online has brought about many secrets that the government has kept from us. However, back then, there was a trade-off, right? Back before technology, back before we had anything other than the state media propaganda fed to us by NBC, CBS, ABC, the local fucking newspaper. Before that, there was a trade-off. The trade-off was, I get to buy a house. I get to retire at 60. I get to send my kids to college. I get to buy a car, maybe even 2 cars, and a boat. Because the power of the dollar was supreme. And corporations weren't totally fucking us over back then. There was trade-off. I'm not going to ask any questions, and you're going to give me my nut. Right? We don't have that anymore. Not at all. And all of this bullshit, a lot of this, not all of it, but some of it, was recently discussed on the Rogan Experience between Joe Rogan and J.D. Vance, where they covered a variety of issues. And I listened to that. I'm not saying you have to, but it's pretty fucking telling if you listen to it. Speaking of propaganda, speaking of administrations and politicians that don't really give a fuck about you, this J.D. Vance guy, I do have to give him credit. He is a good. I guess I give him credit for being a good I didn't believe a single thing he said. I mean, some of it, yes, but like the whole. His whole mantra on Rogan was very icky to me. And personally, I don't buy a single thing. He went on Rogan being all like fucking bro. I'm a bro. I'm a bro on Rogan, and I'm a real dude. I am a real life guy. I didn't buy any of it. Because, well, look at the track record, JD. He did give like good perspective on the negotiations with Iran and why they're not going as well as everyone would have hoped they would have gone, and why we're still bombing the shit out of each other. The news articles that came out after that, because JD basically said that, Israel doesn't want the peace deal to go through. And so they're not making it easy for anybody to have the peace deal go through. And the Iranians are all segmented and nobody can agree between themselves to get anything done. So the whole thing's disjointed. And the media came out and said, it's a bombshell from J.D. Vance about Israel sandbagging the peace agreement between the U.S. and Iran. Bombshell. No, it's fucking not. Anybody with half a brain could see that Israel doesn't want that. Come on. Of course Israel doesn't want that. That's why they've been bombing civilians this whole time. But he does give perspective on how disjointed the Iranians are, which makes sense. We've killed like all of the leaders they've propped up since the Ayatollah was killed. So that makes sense. Vance is so persuasive, but I don't believe the bro attitude, not for a fucking second. I think Rogan did a decent job asking questions. I don't know if he pressed hard enough in some areas, but I mean, you're talking to the vice president of the United States. That's crazy. But the VP immediately, within the first 3 minutes of the podcast, starts plugging his new book. Which it's hilarious because it's like, dude, you've been in office for 2 years. Have you been writing the book the whole time? So you're spending your time writing the book rather than improving the lives of Americans or getting these peace deals squared away. You're spending your time writing a fucking book. That to me is like a regular dude who has a day job and like supposed to be like supporting his family through his day job, but then he spends all of his time preparing for his next podcast. I mean, because he has the podcast on the side, like obviously. Capiche? I just don't buy it. But anyways, not gonna read his book. I heard it's charting like #1 on New York Times. Who's reading that book? Who's reading it? Not me. Sounds like a real fucking sleeper. Boring. But he has a lot of crazy revelations. One of them, he admits to corporations being more powerful than the government. It's like, no shit they are. They own you. They fund you. Look at your daddy, fucking Teal. Petey. Look at Petey Teal. He created you. He's made you. He owns you. He's an example of corporations being more powerful than you. And the problem is, what are y'all doing about it? What's the government doing about it? You can't just slap them with antitrust. You have to do more. But the real kicker is how he described the Epstein stuff. And thank God Rogan asked him about the Epstein stuff. But when he asked J.D. Vance about the Epstein shit, all Vance said was, oopsie, we made an oopsie when we disclosed the data. Bad comms on our part. We screwed, quote unquote, we screwed up the comms. I think he did a little bit more than screw up the comms, buddy. And he expects us to buy all of this. Essentially, if you don't listen to it, he explains the Epstein debacle by saying they screwed up the comms, and he blamed everything on Pam Bondi, the nitwit. And said, oh, I like Pam Bondi, she's great, but she really, she had some trouble with this. It's like, yeah, no shit. She was trying to juggle all of y'all's culpability in this. Everybody's culpability, she was trying to juggle it and go through hoops with the media and with Congress and the courts. Of course, she's going to come out looking like a dumbass because y'all are culpable. It's insane to me. It's insane to me that he goes on there and thinks that the people are just going to buy that shit. It's like, and some people I'm sure will buy it. And that is how crazy this level of propaganda has gotten. Obviously, people like him, people like Trump, I'll give them credit. They understand that the mainstream, if you can call it that, the mainstream media doesn't exist anymore. Nobody under the age of 90 cares about what people on mainstream media have to say about anything. And so obviously you saw this during the election. Trump went on all these podcasts because he understands that that is where people get their information. That is where content is primarily derived in terms of news and what's happening and who's who and what's what. He understands that. And so with that comes the powerful arm of U.S. propaganda. And J.D. Vance brought all of that to the table. However, I don't buy it. I think it's predominantly bullshit. Now, hold on. Because it's Saturday night. Saturday Night Fever! And I gotta get a beer out of my cooler. A little brewski out of my cooler. Brewski out of my cooler. Sipping it till I sleep. It's just depressing. It's depressing to know that there's very, very little anyone can do about the oppression, the surveillance, the child sex trafficking and money laundering tax evasion elite wrapped up in the Epstein circle. What can you do except continue to ask questions? Which, you know, at least we can still do that, right? At least we can still ask questions. You know things are going to be real fucked when you can't ask questions anymore. Really. And that's why Pale Nimbus is all about questions. And the one question I always ask is, what the fuck is going on? Because really, what is going on? I really have to, it's the old adage of like, you stare long enough into the abyss, and the abyss will stare right back into you. And I feel like maybe I haven't articulated super well, but I have done way too much research on how much surveillance, data capture, data points that the government and the companies that they contract to do the work for them, how much data and surveillance they pull and do on us, the U.S. population. It really fucks my head up to know what they're doing. Really screws me around. And you gotta wonder, what's their long-term play? Outside of total control. Well, you have come to the right place. Because, I mean, look at what's going on. Neo-feudalistic dark order. That's what's happening. They are moving us in the direction of a neo-feudalistic dark order run by tech oligarchs and supported by feeble-minded, screen-addicted, dopamine-addicted peasants like us. We're slaves in this machine. Go to any coffee shop. Go anywhere. Everyone's always staring at their fucking phone. And I don't know. I guess people don't know that there's retinal screening, that your phone is looking at your face, seeing how you respond to everything. Keystrokes are inputted and piped directly back to like companies like Palantir. We're so fucked. We're so fucked. And now they're saying they want us to eat lab-grown meat. Just to top it all off. There's nowhere you can go. There's nowhere you can run. There's nowhere you can hide. Also, here's your slab of lab-grown meat and canola oil as butter. Eat up. Come get your slop. Come get your slop. Can you believe that? look, the Beyond Meat thing didn't pan out for our buddy Bill Gates, who allegedly still has an STD from Russian hookers. The Beyond Meat thing didn't work out because people were like, this shit sucks. And so he pivoted to lab-grown meat. Meat derived from a singular protein cell from a chicken or a cow or what have you, then synthesized and cultured into a slab of meat for you to eat with your I can't believe it's not butter spread over your fucking glyphosate infused bread. That's where we're at right now. The FDA recently approved, I think from a federal position, I don't know. The FDA recently approved lab-grown meat, and companies like Upside Foods, funded by yours truly, Bill Gates, who allegedly has an STD, yucky, and they're going to be pushing that very hard. But lest we forget what they did with the oils, with the canola spread. I can't believe it's not Betty Crocker. Can't believe it's not butter. They lied to us and said this is better for you than actual butter. And everybody back in the early 2000s bought it up and ate it. I did. Well, my parents did. I did when I was a kid. And it's like, okay, yeah, this shit's great. Whatever. It's like a bunch of fucking hydrogenized oils. Palm seed oil. Canola oil. Rapeseed oil. All this shit. It's gnarly. And come to find out, they lied to us. Our bodies can't fucking process it. Made everybody fucking fat. It's not like butter. It's not as good as butter. And they're doing the same thing, again, with this lab-grown meat shit. This makes sense if you're on some space voyage to Pluto. It makes sense if you're doing lab-grown meat on fucking Mars. That makes sense to me, right? You can't bring a fleet of a herd of cattle with you to Mars. It makes sense if they're doing this shit in space. It doesn't make sense to do it here. And of course, they're going to say, oh, well, carbon emissions, methane from cows, gotta cut back. Yeah, right, whatever. But that's how they sell it. And then these companies, they're all concerned about their carbon footprint, say, okay, yeah. And stupid idiot heads at the USDA say, okay, yeah. And the FDA, oh, yeah, sure, lab-grown. That sounds pretty fancy. In a lab? Like a scientist? Oh, okay. Sure, oh. And you'll give me a board seat at your company and I'll make $5 million a year? Oh, I'll sign this. I'll approve this. That's what happens in every fucking industry. Medicine, food, the military, all these executives at the companies are a lot of the executives at these companies were formerly the heads or high-ranking members at the FDA or at the Pentagon, and all of these people make decisions that are very, very fortuitous for whatever sector you're in, whether it be medicine or defense, agriculture. These people in the government have been shown to make decisions that are not the best for the people, but for the corporations. And then they're awarded with a nice little cushy board seat, $250,000 every board meeting, and a little, bump on the rump at the end of the year, some package they receive. It's insane. I mean, just look at what happened to the Sackler family, and how the FDA approved OxyContin. And then the people that made the decisions at the FDA went and sat on the board at the Sackler firm. I mean, this is just nuts. Same thing with generals that retire from the Pentagon, go sit in these cushy boardrooms with these cushy executive jobs at places like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Pratt and Whitney, Boeing, all these companies that profit off of war. This is how the people get fucked over, is because no one cares about the people. It's the people. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. You know, I was trying to get. I'm in a new studio here. I'm trying to get the video going, but I'm wearing a lot of hats here. I'm wearing a lot of hats, and I need to hire a producer. So hopefully we'll be coming to YouTube at some point. But I don't know. But what are you going to do other than sit back with a cooler full of beer, cracking them open and just hanging out? I don't know. Cooler, beer, asking questions. That is the only thing that Pale Nimbus has on the agenda. That's it. I got my cooler. I got my beer. And I have a list of questions that make my brain a little fuzzy sometimes. Because the answers to those questions, I fear, are far darker than I would ever like to admit. The question of J.D. Vance going on Rogan and touting off a lot of bullshit I don't believe in, especially as it pertains to the Epstein shit, which nobody should forget about. They'd love if you forgot about it. I'm not going to forget. A lot of people don't forget. Anybody with half a brain is not going to forget it. And it's funny because do they not know, or rather, I suppose they don't even care, that them ignoring our questions sows distrust and dissidence amongst the people. I don't think they give a rat's ass about that. I'll always ask questions about that until those questions are satisfied. I'll ask questions on the surveillance. Why do we need to be surveilled 24/7 all the time? Where we go in our cars and what we look like in our cars. What we're looking up online. And this is the thing. Well, if you don't have anything to hide, why does it matter? It's like, are you a fucking idiot? Of course it matters. It's our freedom. Privacy is freedom. Get that through your skull. Privacy is freedom. And with no privacy, we're fucked. Seriously. And I do think one of the reasons why the world is going a little mad right now, at least in the U.S., is, and people don't know it, my theory is people don't they don't know what they're feeling, but I think a lot of it is the subconscious understanding and the knowing that I am being watched all of the time, 24/7. I think that is affecting people's minds. I honestly do. I think, because everybody knows about, TikTok, the TikTok, and Instagram and Meta, they're all like collecting your data. Remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal, Everyone's collecting and selling your data. The government knows where you are. They have your data. All of that. Everybody knows that. Right? To the extent of that surveillance, I don't know if everybody understands the extent of it, but everybody has a general base level understanding that they are being watched, that they are being analyzed, that they are being recorded. And I think, my theory is that that is slowly driving people crazy. They just don't know it yet. And I think it's a decent theory. I think that's part of the reason why people are going berserk. And, that's probably by design. And I think that's a desired outcome. How could it not be? The population going crazy, everyone at each other's throat, nobody can get along, everyone's fed up. Put them on meds. Let's make some money off of the meds. Come on. Put them on lorazepam or whatever. Put them on Xanax. Put them on Zoloft. Give them some SSRIs. Come on. Load them up. I'm sure that's part of it. And then everyone goes crazy, and it's like, oh, well, more surveillance. We need more. Don't you see? We need more than just 5 Tahoes. Our entire squadron needs to be outfitted with Falconet so that we can drive through a pack of people and collect every little single thing on their phone. Of course we need that. It's for your safety and protection. We're never getting it back. Whatever we have already traded with the government, whatever freedom we have traded for their supposed safety and security, we will never get back. Unless, of course, we revolt and replace the current existing government with a better government, which some would argue is justified through the Constitution, given the levels of tyranny we're facing. But unless, of course, something like that occurs, well, just make sure your cooler's full. Make sure your cooler is full. Make sure your cooler is locked and loaded. Make sure your cooler is, make sure you have a red dot sight on your cooler. Make sure you have extra ice packs for your cooler. Make sure you put a flashlight on your cooler. Make sure you buy a suppressor for your cooler while you still can. Make sure your cooler is always by your bedside, locked and loaded. Make sure your friends have their coolers ready. Make sure your friends have good, sturdy, durable coolers ready. Hell, buy another cooler. Get another cooler. Make sure you have a lot of coolers. Make sure you have a tiny cooler that fits on your waistband, just in case. Just in case it's a hot day out and you need a cold bevy. Make sure you have a tiny cooler strapped inside your little waistband next to your penis. Make sure you have a couple big ones. Maybe, I don't know, maybe an extra large cooler for any long distance hangout sessions that you might have and need a little extra punch inside the cooler. Make sure you got that too. And I know coolers go for so much these days, and there's so many things. It's just you can buy a used cooler, easy. You can buy a used cooler. You can buy a lot of ice online. They sell ice online, and it's not going to get any cheaper. In fact, it's gonna grow more expensive. Ice is gonna go up. Cooler costs are gonna go up. Okay. Just make sure you got your coolers, cause when the time comes to be thirsty, let me just tell you, you're gonna want to have your fucking cooler. Ciao.